In this video, I want to show you how to extract data that can be used to construct a flood duration curve. And I'm going to demonstrate this by picking a stream from Florida, which is something you'll need to do for your homework. So I've gone to this USGS website, which is linked to you, and it allows us to build a time series of data, which is what we're going to want to do. So the first thing we're going to do is pick a state or territory, and we're of course going to pick Florida. And then we want to select what kind of data we want to gather. And in this case, we're going to pick stream flow in cubic feet per second. Don't be tempted to do anything in metric. It may not have those data. So we're going to pick stream flow in cubic feet per second. And then we have to scroll all the way down to the bottom of this web page. And it's going to give us a list of all the sites that have stream flow data in cubic feet per second in Florida. And we want to organize these. We could do it on a map, but I like to do it in a table of sites grouped by the hydrologic unit, which is like the name of the river. So I find this to be the best way to pick a specific stream. So we're going to do that, and then we're just going to submit. And there we go. So it found 669 sites in Florida where there are stream flow data that we can use to build a time series. And here are all the different streams. You'll notice some of these you might recognize: the St. Johns River. What do we have here? The Kissimmee. I'm going to go down. Let's just randomly pick one here. Let's pick the, oh, I don't know, the Alafaya. Let's pick the Alafaya near Lithia, Florida. The Alafaya River near Lithia, Florida. So I'm going to click on the site number here, which is a link. And this will bring me to the web page for the Alafaya River near Lithia, Florida. Okay. So now the next thing I need to do is in this blue bar, it says available data for this site. And we want time series daily statistics. Daily statistics. Okay. Now, what kind of data are available for the Alafaya River near Lithia, Florida? And these are what we have. We have discharge, gauge height, and stream water elevation above NAVD. We want discharge. I'm going to click on the discharge, and this is really important here. So this tells us what data are available for when. So data are available for discharge from 1963, January 1st, up to the October of 2020. We are going to want a full year of data. So the first year for which there is a full year of data is apparently 2019, right? We don't have a full year of data for 2020 because we're missing most of October and all of November and December. So 2019 is going to be the first year for which we have a full year of discharge data. So I'm going to put in the from and to for the year 2019, which is from 2019 0101 January 1st to 2019 12/31 December 31st. I'm going to want to produce a table of mean daily values, and then I'm going to click submit. And here are the data. Now, unfortunately, this is a table of data that's really hard to insert into Excel because it's a table arranged both in rows and columns. So to get it in a format that's easier to input into Excel, I'm going to click on this tab separated data link here, and this will recreate the data in a simply, well, it's going to look more complicated, but it's actually easier to get it into Excel. So let's click on that and see what we get. Okay, now this looks like a mess, right? It's a text file full of, these are header information here, and then here are my actual data, and it's just full of numbers here. It turns out that what I'm going to really want is the very last column here. This column here represents this last one here that starts with 197, then 193. Those are the mean discharges in cubic feet per second. Now, in order to get those into Excel, I have to highlight all the data, and then I'm going to copy it and paste it into Excel, and then I have to do a few tricks. So I'm going to highlight everything from here, all the way from the beginning of the USGS down to 109. Let me just show you again what I've highlighted here. Everything from the very first part of my data, which is the word USGS, all the way down to the last number in the last day. And I'm going to copy that, Control C, and then I'm going to move it into a blank spreadsheet. So here's a blank spreadsheet, and in cell A1, the very beginning, I'm going to paste my data. Okay. Now this is actually quite confusing because what we've actually pasted in are a bunch of string values, not numbers. So we have to convert these into numbers, and Excel fortunately knows how to do that. So what I'm going to do is highlight column A by clicking on it, and then I'm going to go to Data, text to columns. It's going to convert the text in column A into data numbers that it's going to put in other columns. Now, fortunately, this is actually pretty easy to do with this format of data from the USGS. I want to actually pick a fixed width because actually these data are in specific columns of fixed width. And then actually if I page through here next, it'll show me how it plans on dividing the data. You see those vertical lines, and that's actually what I want, right? What I'm going to want is to divide the data like this, with the very last column being the data that I want. Everything else isn't really of interest to me. So I can click finish and it's done it. So here it's taken my data from the USGS, it's copied it into Excel, and it's extracted it into different columns. And once again, the only column that I'm really interested in is this last one that's in O. Those are the discharges for every day during the year 2019. So actually what I can do is just simply go here and highlight those columns and delete them. I don't really care about them. These are what I need. These are now, let's actually label these. This is my discharge Q in CFS for the different, I did that again, I keep doing that, for the different days of 2019, all the 365 days of 2019. There we go. We can check and see how many days of data there are here. It should go down to 366, right? Because we have one column, that's the header. So these are in fact 365 days worth of data from January 1st to December 31st. And that's how I get my data into Excel. And now I can go and follow the procedures that you should already know to create a flow duration curve, and interpret it.